Beth Ann.
And I welcome you today to CSC Talk Radio. It's my honor, my privilege, and my pleasure to be here with you on this Memorial Day. I hope that you're having a good time, that you've got family either coming in or you're going to visit family, or maybe you're just sleeping in, whatever the case may. I guess if you're sleeping in, you're not listening to me, but I thought we would go back. We do this every year, and I almost didn't do it. I thought, no, we still need to remember what Memorial Day is all about. Declaration Day is what it used to be called. And that particular poem that we think about on Decoration Day was by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. Now, while it might not have been his most popular poem, or one that he's most known for, or maybe not his prettiest poem in some respects, it became very popular. You know, he was what they called a fireside poet. He had lots of poetry in him. But this one is about the Civil War. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. But it said by the time it made it into the Atlantic newspaper back in 1882 and made national news, it said that Mr. Longfellow had died just a few weeks earlier in his Cambridge home at the age of 75. So he really never knew how it was perceived. And I thought I would share this with you this morning. Declaration Day. Sleep, comrades, sleep and rest on this field of the grounded arms, where foes no more molest, nor sentries shot alarms. Ye have slept on the ground before, and started to your feet at the cannon's sudden roar, or the drum's redoubling beat. But in the camp of death, no sound your slumber breaks. Here is no fevered breath, no wound that bleeds and aches. All is repose and peace, untrampled lies the sod. The shouts of battle cease, it is the truce of God. Rest, comrades, rest and sleep. The thoughts of men shall be as sentinels to keep your rest from danger free. Your silent tents of green we deck with fragrant flowers. Yours has the suffering been, the memory shall be ours. Now, Declaration Day is a day when the graves, today we decorate all the graves, all the soldiers, all the loved ones. It's a big deal. People go out and make a ceremony of it. But the original Decoration Day was trying to pull a nation back together. A nation that was divided. Homes were divided. And it was intended to heal the broken families and to heal a broken nation. Did you realize more Americans died during this conflict than any other war to date, requiring our first national cemeteries? Think about that for just a moment. Let it sink in, the tremendous death and tragedy. This is something we as a nation, as a people, should never, ever want to repeat. A nation divided, families divided, wounds needed to be healed, and an economy was pretty much tanked. It says a new way of life and labor had to be established. The land was a mess from war. Homes were gone and cities and towns were burned to the ground. Just stop and think about this. But a still young nation began its way back. The South never truly recuperated. Neither side, not really. The South was one of the richest parts of this nation, the richest part of this nation, and now is not. It is a poor area. There are many areas in the South that are completely poverty-stricken. It was back then that many began to live in debt. They had to go into debt to rebuild the businesses, their homes. It was great debt for living. Nobody had done that, not like that before anyway. It had started to be a problem for all in the South. The now freed slaves, as well as the plantation and business owners, picking up the pieces for them, a new way of life for them, a new way in a nation. And it was a struggle. Today, we are a nation in debt, encouraged by government to stay in debt and a central banking system that wants us to just keep borrowing that money, keep keeping up with the Joneses. We see great discord today, nationwide, unfortunately. It is a great concern to me, as this nation once spent time on its knees, and now we seek debt. We seek government programs. We envy others who have more, neighbors that have newer cars, more cars, nicer houses, as if those in business are the enemy if you envy the ones who are what we call rich. They are not. We seem to be a broken nation, and Memorial Day began as a healing of the nation. The decorating of the graves was for the North and the South. There were brothers against brothers, fathers against sons, families divided. It was a broken nation. Right now, the conflict that we have is not that kind of a civil war, but I see it as a civil conflict, even if it's just within the individuals, not just these parties in D.C. that we talk about every day. So I put my little poetry to motion, and I wrote a poem called A Broken Nation, Our History Tells. It says, a broken nation cannot be free when people hate and disagree. Removing bits of history brings discord, not harmony. From our revolutionary days to wars on prairies against the brave, from civil war to world conflicts, this young nation stood the test, resisting tyrants on foreign lands, freeing others from their hands. It was the blood of our young men, strangers, freedom they did win. When once for independence they fought, now a people who want for naught, less satisfied with what they've got, more longing for what can't be bought. But if they'd only stop and think, their liberty is on the brink. Together when the people stand, their strength and freedom are in their hands. The people who once fought for independence now scream for government dependence. Our history is tried and true. The future now is up to you. And we will be right back.